friends. So I'm going to try something a little bit new for me today. I really like watching videos of like Kill a Kit and Page Kit and Counterfeit Kit kind of series because I just love watching people talk about their supplies and why they chose things and, what they love, that kind of thing, and then seeing them use it. And so I'm going to give that a try today, and I am going to make a pocket page kit based on the new Maggie Holmes Round Trip collection. One of my goals for this year, which is 2022, is to buy less paper products and focus more on using my digitals and the physical products I already have. One thing I'm going to do through that is I went through my products I already owned. Some of them are digitals that were pre-printed. Some of them are paper pads that I purchased in previous years. A couple of them are Park Lane travel collections that I picked up when I was in the States at Christmas. And so I'm really excited to get those out and kind of make a little collection out of them and then start using them. So I'm going to share them with you today, and then I don't have to keep them separated anymore for discussion, and I can really just break into using them. Like I said, this is going to be based on the Maggie Holmes Round Trip collection that was recently released. I love it. Obviously, it's a travel-themed collection. I'll probably pick up some of the embellishments in the future. I do have a recent embellishment haul that I will be sharing with you probably after this, and I'm going to try and use those two collections, this one I'm building here of paper and the embellishment haul. I'm going to try and use them together, and for the next couple months, just make a ton of travel pages. Let's get started now. I will say that the order I'm doing this is alphabetical by the page name because that was how it was printed on the website that I looked at, and I will keep it in that order. So what I will do is I will pop each page up here of the Maggie Holmes version, and then I will show you what I have pulled for that. Like I said, this is new to me, so let's just see how it goes. Okay. So the first Maggie Holmes paper, which hopefully you are currently seeing up there, is called Abroad, and the A side is a large pink flower on dark blue. So for my version of this, I picked a dark blue floral. This is a 6x12. I'll put it that way so you can see it a little bit better. I do tend to go through, when I get like a new paper pad or something, I will take one of each pattern and cut it to a 6x12. And then one of those 6x12s I'll cut to 4x6 and 3x4. I try to store a majority of my paper in 6x12 because I do pocket pages and I very rarely need something bigger than that. But this I can cut down to 4x6 or 6x8 or whatever. So you'll see a lot of 6x12s in here as we go along. So for my first one, instead of a large pink floral on dark blue, I have this large floral that's in like a navy tone on tone, and I thought that was a really good option for that. I don't use a lot of pink like floral designs anyway, so I really liked this one, and it is from a paper pad I just bought at you can see the back is like a distress brown. It's a paper pad that I bought at a kind of local budget store here. If you're in the UK, I bought it at The Works. For most of the papers, I will be picking them only for one side, and then if the other side works, that's just like a great bonus. Going back to our Maggie Holmes, on the B side, we have a black kind of sketchy plaid on white. And so I went into my pocket card collection and I found this one, which is an Alif Shaheen design that I had already printed, and it is a black grid on white. And I also have this black kind of wonky grid on white that was a piece of actually packaging from something American Craftsy. And so those are going to be my version of Abroad, which is that paper up there. The next paper we have is called Adventure. The A side has doodled travel icons on pink, and the B side is a vintage newspaper print. So what I did was I actually have this piece here from Cartabella in a 4x6 that I have left, and it is doodled travel icons on pink. And so I thought that was perfect. I love it because I've been a lot of these places. I'm specifically working on a lot of Egypt stuff right now, and it has the pyramids on it. So I thought that was a really great substitute for the adventure paper. Now the B-side has vintage print newspaper, and I'm not a huge vintagey feel kind of person. So I did take some liberties when I was collecting this kit together and kind of picked things that I thought would be more more usable for me. So for this one, I went ahead and I had these 2 cards printed from former Studio Calico digital collections, and they are gray and white and black and white, like a passport stamp. So I substituted out the newspaper print for passport stamps. I thought it was a similar feel to the collection as a whole, but it was something I was more likely to use. So the third paper is called All Packed. The A side has large, colorful travel item icons or images, and the B side has like thick pink and white stripes on a cream. So it's kind of a half, well, 2/3 and a third of pink or red on cream. So for my first piece of paper, I went into my new to me Park Lane travel items, and I found this paper that also has colored travel items on white, and I thought that was a perfect substitute. And then in my pocket cards, I couldn't find any papers that were like a thick stripe in the same way. But in my pocket cards, I found a pink and a red stripe option. And I thought those would be really great substitutes, especially because for the B side of All Packed, it was quite large. And if I cut it down to pocket size, it's unlikely I'd have both pink and red in the same card. And so I thought this was a good substitute for that. I don't know how long I will have space to show all of these things. I am trying to leave the upper corner here available to keep showing the originals, so just bear with me. So our next paper is called Best Day. Because it's a Maggie Holmes collection, of course, we have to have some swans in there. And then the reverse, the B side, is a small blue and purple floral. I actually live in a city called Swansea, and our local professional football team mascot is a swan. And so I know a lot of people are like, what am I going to use a swan for? But I use swans all the time. And so I decided to mix this out for a bird that I have a lot of that I don't use quite as frequently, and that is a flamingo. So these are both from a previous Studio Calico collection, and I pulled both of them. So the reverse was a small blue and purple floral, and I went into, again, my cards that were cut down from paper pads and just found a small kind of multicolored floral that I liked and went with that. Okay, our next paper is called Bike Path, and unsurprisingly, the A side has bicycles on it. The B side is this beautiful, giant, like full 12 by 12 size jewel tone rainbow. So again, I went into my stash and I found this yellow paper that has bicycles on it. Bicycles aren't a motif I use very often. I honestly can't remember the last time I was on a bicycle. So that'll be a fun and interesting challenge to figure out how I'm going to use that. So this is what I'm substituting for the A side. And then the B side that had the huge jewel tone rainbow on it, I went in and I found this card. It was a printable from Citrus Twist, and it has kind of a jewel tone rainbow. And I thought it was a similar feel to the rainbow motif that was on the B side. So I pulled that one out to add to my collection. Our next paper is called Bus Ride, and the A side is multicolored buses on white, and the back, the B side, is white stars on orange. So for this, again, I went into my Elif printables, and I pulled out 2 card options. So the first one is a variety of transportation, buses and cars and things, but in kind of a similar color pattern, or a similar color scheme, and scaled down a little bit to the buses. And then also there was this really fun like coordinating van that says "Here we go" as more of a impact card or title card. And so I thought either one of those would be really great as a substitute for the multicolor buses. The reverse is a white stars on orange. So I went into my papers again and I found this white star kind of sparkle pattern on orange. Our next paper is called Caravan, and it is a blue ditzy floral on blue, and then the reverse is cut aparts. So I did go ahead, I skipped the cut aparts because I already have a lot of pocket cards involved in this collection, and so when looking for a blue ditzy floral, I found these cards from the Project Life September Skies collection. And I've really wanted to use them for a long time because I really like the sketchy floral, and it was on a really pretty shade of like a tealy blue. So I thought I would go ahead and include those as an option for that one. I am quickly running out of room and I'm only a fraction of the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and just move you up. and see if that buys us a little more space. So our next paper is called Departure, and the A side is Airplanes on Pink, and the B side is Pink and Orange Diagonal Stripes. I was kind of surprised when I went into my stash how many Airplane on Pink options I had. So I pulled a couple different ones. One is this great paper from the Park Lane paper pad, and it's actually the reverse, the B side of this paper here that I had pulled earlier. So I have a full 6x12 options in here, but one of them is a pink airplane. And then also from a leaf, I had a card that had pink with orange airplanes on it, and they're teeny tiny, and I just thought it was super cute. And then for the reverse, which was pink and orange diagonal stripes, I also found in a Leaf's products this card that has diagonal stripes with pink and orange and also a little bit of blue. The next paper is called Documented. The A side is a blue and green ledger, and the B side is a small hearts on light blue. So keeping in mind the fact that I want to use these primarily for pocket pages, when I was looking for something in a blue and green ledger, I came across this card from the Project Life Strawberry Kit, and I thought it would be a really fun substitute because it kind of has a similar office-y theme to a ledger, but it gives me space for a title or some journaling, just something that works like a little bit better for pocket pages. The reverse is small hearts on light blue, and I found a small light blue heart on white, so I thought that was a good substitute for that. Our next paper is called En Route, and it is a green ditzy floral on green, and also a kind of random pale green dot on a darker green paper. So for this, I found 2 more 6x12 papers in my stash, which is where I started first because I really want to start using more of these papers that I've been amassing. So I went ahead and I found, I think this is from Amy Tan's Picnic in the Park, and it is a kind of small ditzy kind of white daisy pattern on a pale green. And then the second piece, instead of a random pale green dot on dark green, I found kind of a purpley blue dot on a mint green, and I thought that would be perfectly good for a substitute in this case. So our next paper is called Explore. The A side is a cut apart, which again I skipped because I already have so many pocket cards happening here. And the B side is a small black kind of palm frond on cream. And I couldn't find any palm frond kind of images that I wanted to use, but I did find these 2 black and white floral, and this one's a leaf and it's kind of a doodle. And then this one is from September Skies, Project Life. The same collection is up here. And I thought those would both be fun to use, and they have kind of a similar black doodle sketchy feel to them. So next up, we have a paper called Gathered. The A side is a small blue fruit on purple. And I pulled out, I had this bit of paper here that is a strawberries, a small kind of strawberry print on like a purpley blue color. So I thought that would be good. And then the B side is a blue gingham. And when I was looking, I came up with kind of 2 options. I have this light blue gingham here that seems like a good option, but I also had this like royal blue buffalo plaid, and I was torn between the 2 of them. So I decided to just add both. Our next paper is called Getaway. It has a medium white and pink floral on dark blue for the A side, and a white line kind of geometric on pink for the B side. And so I found this older Simple Story card that is a navy blue with small floral clusters on it, and I decided to go ahead and use that in place of the white and pink floral clusters. Again, still on dark blue, so that worked well. And then for the white line geometric, I found this card here, which is white on light pink, or light pink on white. Probably light pink on white. So I found this card here, which is light pink on white, and it has kind of a grid of dashed doodled lines. I mean, I really liked how that matched the feel of the rest of my papers, so I went with that for my geometric. So our next paper is called Journey, and it is a medium pastel floral on white, and the back is a distressed blue solid. And so at this point in building my own collection, I was a little bit over the florals and a little bit over the blue. And so I went off and found some options that I thought I would use more. So instead of the floral, the medium pastel floral on white, which I already feel like I have several options for, I pulled this Studio Calico mustard floral that is like a dark tone on a lighter mustard background. And I thought that would be a fun addition to my florals for this collection. And then instead of the distressed blue solid, I just picked two papers that I've been wanting to use, or two options that I've been wanting to use. One of them is this pink airmail paper. It's a 6x12, and it just has different kind of airmail received postal kind of icons, travel things. So I thought that would be a fun addition. And then the other one is these two Studio Calico cards that are for the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, depending on which project I'm working on. And they just have like a little bit of a map. So those are two that I added into my collection, going a bit rogue there. Our next paper is called Let's Go. It is a city street map on the A side and a white line geometric on blue on the B side. And again, I pulled a couple options here. So instead of the city street map, I pulled a gray tone-on-tone kind of world globe map. And then also this kind of turquoise blue on white. It's actually like Canada, like the upper part of North America. But it does include Wisconsin, which is fun and where I'm from. I included that instead of the city street map. And then for the idea of the white line geometric on blue, I just went in looking for some white and blue, and I found this kind of spongy stamped blue circle paper, and I thought that would go really well with some of my other options. So as you can see, we are already building up a ton of like cards and paper options here. And I'm really excited to not have these divided by page anymore now that I've shared them with you, and just go ahead, make a little bit of a kit out of it and play with it for the rest of the summer. So our next paper is called On the Road. The A side is a multicolor title words, and the B side is a white and pink starburst on yellow. And so for this, again, I pulled two options. So I have this printable digital paper here that I've printed a long time ago, and it has a ton of different destination words in multicolor, and I thought that was a fun substitute. And then I also pulled this 6x8.5 from Ellie's Studio, which is more of an outline in multicolor, but has a bunch of different fun words on it. For the starburst on the B side, I did find this yellow geometric that has a little bit of a star shape, and I went ahead and added that. The passage paper has a rainbow diagonal stripe on the A side and a white line geometric on yellow on the B side, which are both really easy things to substitute. So again, from Ellie's Studio, my go-to multicolored diagonal place, I pulled this paper here. And then for the white and yellow geometric on the reverse, I went ahead and pulled this card here, which I believe is from Elif. Yeah. So moving back into some more of our travel-specific icons, Passport has a multicolored, like color location badges on white for the A side and a white star on pale green for the B side. So I did have, while they're not location specific, I have this 6x12 here, which has kind of the same feel of badges to it, and I pulled that. And actually on the back of it, we have yet another airplanes on pink motif. And for the B side, which has white stars on pale green, I also found this paper that is like a white plus sign on pale green. So I pulled that. For seasonal, we have a strawberry on pink A side. And I'd already used strawberries earlier here when I pulled the on purple or blue berries. And so I do have another one with a completely different feel. This one here, which was from Studio Calico. So I pulled that strawberry, but I thought I would also put in a couple more fruit motifs that I had just to see if I could kind of get them used. So I do have like a cherry and an orange citrusy one here that I'm also adding. The B side of seasonal is a green and white triangular geometric type pattern. And I do have this green triangular pattern here as well. Again, these are all things I already had in my stash and were already printed. So all of the digital products were already printed. They are printed with my professional photos. So this is, if you flip it over, it's just a normal printed photo. And I just went through those in an effort to really pull out some of these things I haven't been using as much and try and get them used. And also get the same feel of this fun new round trip collection without having to add more paper to my stash. Okay, you guys, so the end is kind of in sight here, but there were just so many papers to this collection. It is kind of difficult to fit all on one screen and in one video. We're going to keep going though. Our next paper is called Snapshot, and the A side is vintage photos. I'm not a huge fan of photorealistic vintage motifs for my own personal scrapbooking, but I did have this really fun piece of Cartabella paper. I'm going to start building up through the middle here again. So this really fun piece of Cartabella paper that's kind of like doodled Polaroids of different destinations. And so I thought that was a much more usable for me option to this idea of vintage photos. The reverse is a pink ledger, and I have a lot of pink happening here already. So I decided to go ahead and pull an Ellie's Studio orange on orange ledger paper to add in there. So our next paper up is called Tickets. The A side is tickets and tags and different cut apart pieces. Again, I skipped cut aparts throughout here. The B side is a pink diagonal plaid, and I also pulled from Ellie's Studio there. I have this kind of pink on pink grid option that I thought worked great with the rest of my collection. So our next paper is called Voyage, and it is a white and cream kind of floral on pink. I went in looking for some more pink florals. I have a lot of multicolor going on here already, but I found a couple Studio Calico ones that I thought were a good fit. And we have this kind of larger 4x6 abstract floral that kind of pulls in some of that creamy pink color. And then just the smaller one that has kind of some fun rounded flowers to it. So I pulled those. And then the reverse is just a light, like kind of parquet wood grain floor. And I have a ton of wood grain and I like it a lot. So I pulled some of the lighter versions. So I have that one here. And then I actually pulled these two pieces as well. They are 6x6, but they are packaging from some stencils I bought. And so I thought this would be a good time to try and maybe use them for something. Okay, so this paper is called Wanderlust. We are at the W's, so thankfully we are nearing the end. The A side is a large pastel floral. The B side is a purple gingham. So I pulled this really pretty jewel tone floral here. And I thought that would work really well with all the other colors and also kind of my personal style. And then the back was a purple gingham, and I could not find a purple gingham specifically, but I did find this teeny tiny purple and white, more of like a herringbone print. And so I added that. And then the final double-sided paper is called World Traveler. The A side of World Traveler has rectangular global maps across it. And I went ahead and pulled in this pink global map here from a previous Studio Calico kit. The backside has small black hearts on kind of a grayy cream color, and I didn't really have anything suitable for that, but I did have these two, and I don't even know if you will be able to see it on camera. They're like a creamy color with the teeny tiniest black dots on it. And again, these are packaging from something that I had in my stash, and so I added those in. The final paper in this collection is the specialty paper, and is a gold foil frond on acetate. So I didn't necessarily want to pull in an acetate for this collection, but I did like the idea of the gold foil. So I went through and I found some older Project Life cards that are all gold foil, but they have rounded corners, and I thought I could just try and cut them down, try and make them work here, and play around with those a little. So those are going to be my substitute for my specialty paper. So this is what I have pulled for the Maggie Holmes Round Trip collection. As far as the papers go, I really loved using the color scheme and the vibe, the motifs, that kind of thing, to play around and pull some stuff from my own stash. But because I'm doing this, again, primarily in pocket pages, that's the main way that I scrapbook, I decided to also pull in a few more bonus cards that would help me get some pages done and add them to my collection. So one of them is I pulled a whole pile of In a Creative Bubble, kind of just her black and white basic cards for different travel themes that I've picked up over the year. So I have lots of journaling options there. And then while I was pulling all these different cards, I had kind of a selection that I'd pulled out and rejected for that specific motif, but they still matched really well. And I wanted to get some more of the like journal card options in there because this is a lot of pattern and filler. And so like I have some more pink and orange options. I have a strawberry there that's in a journal card. Some more like yellow options going through here. Little like blue Polaroid. We got a multicolored stripe. Some more browns and grays. And again, just places that I can do a little bit more journaling that match the overall theme of my papers. So some more wood grains. And some more like food related things. So those are the 3x4, and then I have a few more 4x6 that I had pulled as options but didn't end up using. And so we have just like a little bit of a camera motif. We have a blue ledger. We have a yellow travel card, orange title card there. That one's like a pink summery outdoors one. We have a city map here that I hadn't used a city map earlier, and it's actually the packaging from some pink fresh paper. And then just this card from an older Amy Tangerine Project Life collection with some watercolor already done on it. And then I had this piece of paper here from one of those Park Lane collections. I will link them down below. And it was the cut aparts, which I like well enough. It has a gold kind of silver holographic foil on it. But the backside is these teeny tiny little travel icons on light blue, and I really, really love that. So I thought I'd go ahead and put both sides of that on both pages in here. So I would have the option of the cut aparts or the icons. And so that is my big crazy travel collection that I'm going to be working on for the next couple months. It was based on the Maggie Holmes Round Trip papers, which are incredibly beautiful. And I do encourage you, if you don't already have a huge collection of travel and pocket or paper already, please go ahead and pick up that collection because it is amazing. But I had a really good time playing around with the idea of the inspiration of it and building stuff from my own stash. So next up, I will be sharing my recent travel embellishment hauls, and I am going to kind of organize this into some kind of order and start making travel pages. So I hope that was fun for you guys. I love watching videos like this. I do apologize about my voice. I'm just getting over COVID and I've just talked for, well over half an hour. So that's been a little bit intense for me. But I am hoping to get more content on my channel here, a variety of things from making pages to flip throughs to this kind of, not necessarily a haul, but like using the stuff you have kind of inspiration, and the occasional haul. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and I will hopefully be back soon sharing a bunch of pages that I have made from this. Thanks, guys.